Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a little bit of time to do sort of a general wrap up of this first module. This is partly because it's the first one, and just to make sure everyone's on the right track. Um, and so it won't always happen for every single module. But it's also because, unlike many of the modules, we're doing a big chunk of the first module in person and only some of it online. So I want to make sure we're clear about what's been covered, where it's been covered, and what you need to do if you might be missing some information. From your textbook, we're looking here at kind of the general chapter outline. Um, and you should on Canvas find a video for section 1.1. So we went through this on Canvas. Also for section 1.2, phases and classifications of matter, and section 1.3, physical and chemical properties. Everything from those first three sections of the module should be something that you are learning just by watching the videos on Canvas and reading the textbook. So there's no in-class portion of that you're missing out on. So make sure you feel familiar with all of that. There are a series of worksheets on Canvas related to this material, so you want to make sure you have mastered this material by completing those worksheets. The other three sections are a little bit trickier, however, because we did some of it in person and some of it will be in person in the lab and some of it online. So section 1.4, we did have a video for this one. However, a lot of this, in terms of the kind of the latter half of it, when we got into density, for example, we did a lot of that in the lab, right? So we didn't go through a calculation example. We do that in lab. So if you feel like you didn't get the whole thing from the video, that's because we are doing it, or will be doing it in lab. Depending on when you watch this, you may not have gone to lab yet. So make sure you feel during that lab time that you are getting comfortable with that information. For 1.5, we did this completely in the lab, so we didn't have any video on this. We did it all in the lab, and the lab information is maybe formatted a little bit differently than what you see here. This is essentially the same thing, and hopefully you can see that similarity. But go ahead and read the book as well. We just have always done that as part of lab because precision and accuracy, they matter in the lab, and that's where we learn them the best. We also did 1.6, mathematical treatment of measurement results. We also covered this during lab time, and this is for a different reason. This is something we could have done as part of a lecture. However, this is very, very important material, and that is why I wanted to do this in person. This is probably the most important section of the semester. So depending on when you watch this, you may or may not have had the in-class lab experience with this yet, but it is something that if you master this material, if you know how to do kind of what's shown here and these examples, this is the math. So something like this example right here. This is where math is important in chemistry, is being able to stretch out these conversions over 2 or 3 or 4 steps. And when we get into a lot of math, this is mostly what we're doing. So we'll go through this a bit more as we introduce the mole concept and other concepts where we have these calculations, but this is the best time to make sure you have it mastered because it will be very important. So for that reason, I wanted to have kind of the hands-on, in terms of me being present as you're doing it, experience of learning about conversion factors. So I would say the most important thing to focus on for this module is making sure you have completely mastered 1.6. And again, we will be doing this mostly during the in-person lab time. And it will show up on the quiz. It will definitely show up on the exam, and it shows up in many of the modules to come. So make sure you have mastered this. Also, the other material in this module will be important as well. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time explaining a little bit about why this was structured the way it was. We are covering the same information. And I think, especially with conversion factors, if you're seeing it in more than one way, find the way that works for you. If you like the layout of what's done in the textbook, go with that. If you like the way we did it in person, go with that. If you find a video online, so if you Google conversion factors or dimensional analysis and find someone that's doing that, and you like that, feel free to share that in the discussion board, because other people might benefit from that as well. So that is it for this module. Good luck, everyone, on the quiz, and I will see you in Module 2.